You guys like comic books? Indie comic books? What about indie comic books from local Texas creators? We got you. Welcome to White Cup Entertainment. I'm Chris Guns, and today we're going to be discussing what's going to be happening on our YouTube channel 2026. So we're going to be reviewing comic books. Yes, we're going to be doing mainstream books, some of the classics, but we're going to have a focus on locally created comic books as well, too, produced here in Texas, like some of these guys here on the Houston comic scene. You'll see some of these guys featured in here. We'll do some of these books as well by Nico Rodriguez and Milton Lawson. So that'll be cool. We also have people like Nikki Davis, who's just putting out comic books right now. Graffiti artist you may have seen around here. Also, Nico Rodriguez, another book that he's done. It's a Star Wars bootleg, The Night After Endor, kind of like a horror story involving some of the Ewoks. I've gone through this. I'm not going to spoil it, but we will be reviewing this along with some of his other books. Also, Mark Nasso, Houston native that's over here producing Land of the Rats, real metal type book. Also, we got Trench Tale right here, cool fucking manga. Yeah, 2 volumes of this currently out. In between doing stuff like this, we'll also be reviewing, I don't know, some Spider-Man books maybe. We'll see. So, in addition to these guys, we will also be checking out Bad Cog Studios. These guys have been around for a while, and what I'd say they're most known for is their landscape books. So they produce all their books in landscape format. So we'll be checking out a lot of this stuff here. So Bullets and Bra Straps, Michael Brooks does a lot of this stuff. Los Locos we'll all be checking out as well too. And David Richards' Age of Oblivion we'll be checking out. So these are pretty cool. Like I said, they're all done in landscape. They're all local guys here in Houston. And in between doing a lot of these books, we'll also be reviewing some more Spider-Man books. Spider-Man Reign's a pretty cool series that we'll be checking out. Just anything from Kara Andrews' period we'll be checking out. So in addition to these, we'll have some local friends that I've met over the years who are producing books like Uriko, which is a Korean vampire story, real cool format, black and white. But also, same creator. This is another story that he's working on. Same format, but in color. So we'll be checking out his books as well. Carlos the Kaiju Killer. This is one of my favorite books that I got to pick up last year. So this is actually the entire volume, issues 1 through 5, from Roberto Rivera. That we'll be checking out. I'll be doing the individual issues of these, as well as Dan Price does Bigfoot Knows Karate. Houston native, but resides now in San Antonio. So we'll be going over some of his books, as well as this, Tank McGregor. This is another cool book that I picked up a few years back. There's actually 2 volumes of this. I'll be going through the first volume. This is from a creator in Austin, Texas, Rolando Garza. And this is basically kind of like a 80s, 90s action throwback, but set in space. And it's real cool. I really enjoy that series. In between a lot of this stuff, we'll also be doing some Spider-Man bootleg books. This is a real cool series that I first was made aware of on Cartoonist Kayfabe. Yes, I am aware that the intro basically kind of like mimics or pays homage to that, so that was done on purpose. But yeah, this will be another book that we'll be going through. All these books as well. And I'll be going through some old school stuff too, like this. Some Ben Dunn stuff that was with Antarctic Press. This guy's been around forever, since I was in high school. But we'll be looking at some of these books as well as Archangels. This is a book that came out, I want to say like in 95, 97. This was real cool because they put some money into this and they basically made an image quality publication for a while. But yeah, so we'll be doing some old school stuff like this, as well as some old school stuff, Spider-Man. These were some of like the first Spider-Man stories I've ever read that were gifted to me by my parents. So I'll be going through a lot of this kind of stuff. Maybe even some Eric Larson Spider-Man, which is always kind of cool to look at. Some real cool stuff that he did here with the Sinister Six. So we'll probably be reviewing this. Deathlock, real fucking cool. So we'll go through these books, as we're also going to have more local Houston produced books. Miki Ramirez with Gargoyle, he's been doing this. I think he has another book out called Jaguar that we'll be going through. Asteroid Coffee, they have a couple of books out that we'll be going through. As well as 50/50 Comics, man. This is a brother duo that is producing several books here in Houston. We'll be going through their stuff. Pretty cool stuff. I think they're also going to be reprinting and continuing Isaiah Brazard's The Funktastic Adventure. So this will be a book that they'll be producing that's continued. As well as David Richard. He has 13 Tribes, which, again, he's part of Badcock Studios. But this is being produced independently of them. But we'll be checking this out. And in between all this, we'll probably be going through some more Spider-Man books. These are the first Spider-Man books that I actually bought with my own money. So, Mark Bagley era of Spider-Man. So we'll probably go through some of these. Let me know what you guys want to look at. We'll also probably go ahead and review some of the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man books because, those are amazing artwork to look at. Some of my favorite covers. Hobgoblin, Ghost Rider, of course. So these will be things that we'll also, like I said, all go through and review and look through on the channel. This is an artist here that I admire very much here in Houston. Knitness. She draws some of the most beautiful women. You can catch her on her Instagram. But I have several of her little art books and zines that she's put together. They're fucking amazing. So these will be reviewing, as well as some other stuff, like some local manga. Welcome to Houston. I'll be reviewing stuff like that. Tuesday, another guy. He's got several volumes of these. I think he might be up to like 6, but these are amazing to look at. Like I said, these are kind of like off the beaten path. In addition to stuff like this, we're also going ahead and maybe review some Spider-Man manga. So we'll see. We'll see. Got a couple of things in there. We'll also just have a bunch of just kind of random stuff that I've collected over the years, just Houston books and stuff. People from Houston that created, people in Texas like San Antonio and Austin and everything. Just a lot of people don't realize that there are people here in Texas that are producing comic books. This is from a toy maker that just kind of put together a comic. This was something I picked up at a Comic-Con here in Texas, in Houston rather, a while back. But yeah, so we'll be doing stuff like this, and in between these kind of books, we'll also be, reviewing, Spider-Man 2099 maybe. And yes, because you guys bug me so much about it. You've drawn every Spider-Man, but Kane Parker. You've drawn every other iteration of Spider-Man, but fucking Kane Parker. But fucking. In all honesty, I do have these books. I've read them. I realize that he is based here in Houston. I've just never been a fan of his costume, but I will be reviewing some of his books as well too. Yeah, and in addition to doing all this kind of stuff, we're also going to be producing a comic book here by friend of the channel, Stephen Patrick Kelly. So Shane Longshadow is Hungry is a book that we'll be producing with him. This is some of the stuff that you can kind of look forward to. We'll be having him in here going through some of the pages, explaining, like his thought process and everything like that, and even showing some of the original artwork. This is in volume 1 right here. This is a brand new page that he created for that. So we'll be doing a lot of this. And we'll also be kind of like going through some of the books that I've been producing as well too, some sketchbooks. This is actually about to get reprinted in a larger format. And also, we have our own little comics. We have some of our illustrated cards that we do as well too that we'll be showcasing on here, as well as some Spider-Man comic books that I actually create. So these are kind of like bootleg advertisements for our store here. But yeah, we'll be doing a lot of this and showcasing some of my artwork that I've created over the years. You know, some Spider-Man artwork, obviously. Some more Spider-Man artwork. A lot of which you can kind of see on t-shirts that we sell here. So, yeah, you can check all this stuff out. This is one of my favorites, is Goblin Peace. But in addition to that, we'll be showing you some of the t-shirts that my brother and we design and print ourselves here in Texas. We have our own print shop that we do a lot of this stuff. So everything here is all screen printed, no DTG. So just going to go ahead and showcase some of the work that we do. These shirts are all available now currently on our website and at our store location, along with some not Spider-Man stuff like, you know, the Wolverine, which is a classic that everybody loves, Weapon X. And we'll also be talking about like some of the toys that we'll be making. So you can catch the, the first looks at some of the stuff that we'll be making here at White Cup Entertainment. But yeah, so I'm glad if you guys stuck around, if this is something that you guys want to see. If you know other comic book readers here in Houston in Texas, and you guys think they'd be interested in finding local creators, local comic book producers, follow the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of this. This will be stuff that you'll see maybe 3 times a week, if not more. But like, follow, subscribe, comment, tag a friend, and remember just to read your comic books, nerds.